Hey Hypno Stars, how are you today? I thought that I would answer the questions that I've received here live on the Hypno Stars VIP family group instead of the bigger group today. And I received a couple of questions. One was from Faye and one was from Graham. So Graham did my retreat in May at the Gold Coast, and he has a client that he's concerned about. And so I thought that I would tell you what his questions are and give you my answers. And so what Graham was asking about was that he has a new client. Congratulations, well done, Graham. And his client is suffering from PTSD and is also an ice addict. And so he was concerned that he didn't have the skills to actually deal with those areas. So first of all, I've got to say that the only way that we get the skills is by seeing clients like that. So with the therapist system that I taught you, there is absolutely no reason as to why you can't actually implement it to help this particular client, Graham. So with PTSD, don't get intimidated by labels. So this system works. So go through the system and do it. It's a label. That's what it is. And I'm not saying it's not severe. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist and it's not real. But what we do works. So believe in yourself and know that you can do it. Now, in terms of ice addiction, his question is, what do you do after you remove the negative emotions and the limiting beliefs? So what I would suggest is after you've done that, after you've removed the negative emotions and the limiting beliefs, that you do some heavy, deep trance work on whatever needs to be done. So Fork in the Road is a brilliant, absolutely brilliant script for addictions, making sure that you use and utilize all the things going on in your client's world and, whatever that client needs. So after you've removed negative emotions and limiting beliefs, do your deep trance work. And there's plenty out there that you can utilize. So I had an ice addict here at HypnoFit, and the way that he actually dealt with his ice addiction was to move on to pot. Now that's okay? So he moved on to pot, and then we got rid of the pot addiction, and then he moved on to cigarettes, and now 18 months later he's come back to HypnoFit because he's ready to get rid of the cigarettes. So, it's a process, it's transition. He went from ice to pot to cigarettes, and now as of next week, he is going to nothing. He's going to be free of all addictions. Hey, Charles, you know that we have a Hollywood star here in our VIP family, and that's Charles West, who is just waving there. If you see Charles's personal page, he's like on the red carpet and so on. So, hey, Charles, good to see you. So we have Hollywood here at Hypno Stars. And Sandra, good to see you, Sandra. And who else is on? Faye, nice to see you, girlfriend. And so, whatever it takes for your client to do what they need to do. So with hard drugs like ice, I would also recommend that they actually have other resources at their disposal as well. So as an example, here in this area we have EDAS, the Eastern Drug and Alcohol Services, where they see a alcohol and drug counsellor at the same time, and that is free of charge, provided by the government. So find out what services are available in the area of your client so that you can support them. I always believe that, we're there to support them in every type of capacity. So it's not just about what we do for them in the session, but how else we can support them. So what services we can give them. And with those people who have a hard drug addiction, we need to find what services are available for them, because they're in a spot where, they're not empowered or proactive, and so they do need a helping hand. And so that's what I believe needs to happen. All the 12 steps program, as Charles said. So AA, of course. So AA is a brilliant program that works for many people. I know a lot of hypnotherapists have got issues with it because, you know, you have to stand up and give yourself a label for the rest of your life. But hey, you know, it has worked for a lot of people. And so you can't discount it because it may not work for one person, but it is exactly what somebody else needs. So thanks for that, Charles. All right, so that's answering that question. And that is, you know, if you have a client that's out of your depth, you've got to remember that all the clients that I have seen were out of my depth at some point. And it's only by seeing them that we can get the skills that we need to move forward as therapists. And so, you know, don't be struck down by, you know, the fear that you can't help those clients. If you are properly trained, you can help them. You absolutely can, unless, of course, it's a psychotic illness. And I don't consider depression to be a psychotic illness. When I'm saying a psychotic illness, it'll be something that is psychotic, like schizophrenia or something like that. Obviously, you can't help everybody all the time. But especially when you're starting out, you know, make it your mantra to say yes and not say no out of fear. Okay, so that you and seek advice, support, and resources from those that have seen those type of clients. And that's why we have this community right here, so that you can actually reach out and get support from the more experienced people in this group. And there are a lot of experienced people in this group. Okay, so to answer Faye's question, Faye had a couple of questions that she threw out today. So let's answer them. The first one was about anxiety. So she had a client return and said that the anxiety has returned. So anxiety is one of those things, unlike anger, sadness, hurt, and other negative emotions that we help clients with, anxiety can return if the client isn't vigilant with applying the techniques that they have learnt. They need to do the work in between sessions. So make sure that, you know, you don't take responsibility for the fact that the anxiety has returned with your client. You need to ask the questions, which are, you know, have you been utilizing your anxiety technique that I have taught you? Are you doing it regularly? So you bring them back into your session and you do it again. And then you may also need some scripts as well. So there are some great scripts for anxiety about, you know, there are many symptoms of anxiety, such as clammy hands, heart beating out of control. So it is about, you know, helping your client know how to reverse those symptoms in hypnosis. So you teach them the anxiety technique again, because they've always, you know, they're probably not utilizing it for the anxiety to return, and help them through every single thing that they feel anxious about, every single thing. So take them through the anxiety removal technique process as per the expert therapist system, and then give them some deep trance work in terms of reversing those symptoms in hypnosis. So I hope that's helped you, Faye. And the next question is about Facebook Live. She said, what works and what brings traction? So the more you do Facebook Lives, the more credibility you get, because people will see that you know your stuff and that you're passionate about your stuff, and then they also connect with you on a personal level, because people buy people. And so it's important to do Facebook Lives or videos or whatever it is that you choose to do. I mean, Facebook Lives are great because of the personal interaction as well. So another thing that is really powerful is, you know, demonstrations. So you notice that with every half-day event that I do, I film everything. And, you know, you take the risk that things may not work out exactly as you want them to, but you're giving yourself credibility that you do, that you can, you know, help people, and you show people that. So it's not just what you say, but it's what you do. So in terms of, something that is powerful, I'll get to your question in a minute, Faye. I'll just finish this Facebook question. In terms of a heading that's powerful, to tell you the truth, I tend to do these lives not so much for attracting new clients, but to answer my existing clients' questions. So I'm not very careful with headings. But a great heading would be like the one that I did on my personal page today, which is a how-to heading without. So people like steps, people like how to, so the one that I gave on my personal page, if you have a look today, was how to take your business to the next level in 3 steps without burning out or without going insane. So that's a powerful heading, how to do something without the bad thing, without the thing that clients don't like. So for instance, a weight loss client would be how to lose 3 kilos in 5 weeks without starving yourself or without going on a diet. So the things they don't want to do is what you've got to put as the without. Okay, so they're very, very powerful headings. So how-to headings are powerful, giving 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps, or you don't have to say steps, secrets, tips, strategies, whatever that word is, without, and do it that way. And so they're really good headings to have. So I'll just have a look to see what Faye's question is. Totally agree that it's about her assuming responsibility. This was my very first anxiety client and I wasn't consistently keeping her accountable. Lesson learned there. There you go. And do you know what? If your clients come back to you, they should, because in my 15-step program, it's how to get your clients coming back to you, because, throughout their life, they're going to encounter other issues, other problems, and far better they come back to you than somebody else. If they're coming back to you, that's actually a huge compliment, because it means that you helped them the first time in some capacity, and now they've got something else that they need to deal with. So please, don't look at that as a problem. In fact, it's what you want, because if they don't go back to you, they'll go back to someone else. So if you look at the 15 Steps program, there is a step in there about how to get your clients coming back to you. Okay, so any more questions from anybody out there, please let me know and I'll answer them right here. Oh, okay. Faye said, great tips for Facebook Live. Is there an amount of time that you would recommend for lives? Look, with lives, unlike videos, and videos should really only be like a minute and a half, really short, because people have short attention spans. Unlike videos, Facebook Lives need to be as long as possible. And the reason is it takes people a little bit of time to get on, and what you want is the engagement. And so the longer the Facebook Live, the better. That is not the case with videos. So I hope that's been helpful. And Rhonda's got a question. Do you tape the sessions and give it to them? So that's a very good question, Rhonda. When I first started my business, I used to tape all my deep trance sessions. So you don't tape anything to do with removing emotional blockages or negative stuff, okay? Because you don't want them to hear that again. But when you're future pacing them and you're talking about positive suggestions in deep trance, I do tape it. I no longer give it to them, because I used to give it to them when I first started my business for free. And then I found that they weren't listening to it because they didn't value it because it's free. So every person who goes through a HypnoFit program gets 2 audios for free, which are generic. So they're not recreated. So it's not extra work for us here at HypnoFit. But if I'm doing something specific for them, then I tape it during the session, and then I say to them, if you want a copy of that, that's going to be $30. And so if they really want a copy of that, they're going to spend $30, and then they will listen to it and they will value it. So do you play relaxing music in the background? Yes, always. So with Timeline, we simply have relaxing music that we put on, and with Deep Trance we do as well. So yes, we do. I do play. It makes a difference in terms of those anxious people relaxing in a really relaxed way, especially to begin with, when they're not used to you as a therapist, they're not used to your voice. Faye saying, what are the 2 generic audios that you send to clients for free? So depending on their program phase, so if it's a weight loss program, then the two would be one for food reduction and one would be for exercise. If it's for anxiety, it would be one is for anxiety. If it's my depression clients, it'd be one for depression and one for relaxation. So any kind of anxiety clients should have just a pure relaxation one as well, just to relax and know how to relax. So it just depends what program they're actually doing. And in fact, with my HypnoFit practitioner licensing that I'm going to launch hopefully in October, I'm going to be providing all my audios as part of the HypnoFit practitioner licensing, and all my products and all my handouts and everything. That's what I'm in the process of doing now, is collating some 100 things that I've created over the last 10 years. And Charles is asking a question. Do you ever use a virtual gastric band for weight loss? Yes, we do virtual gastric band a lot here at HypnoFit, and most definitely we do it. Yep. So the answer is yes, Charles, we do virtual gastric band here at HypnoFit. To tell you the truth, it used to be more of a hook years ago than it is now, when it was first launched by Sheila Granger. And people don't ask for it anymore like they used to. So they used to ask for it. Every weight loss client used to ask for virtual gastric band. Now they're simply asking for weight loss. So it's rarer these days than it used to be, but we certainly do. At one time, we were doing it a lot. We would be seeing a lot of clients every week with virtual gastric band. So yeah, great system, and do recommend it. Any other questions? No? Okay, so I hope that's been helpful, guys. If you do have any questions in between Facebook Lives, just simply post them on this VIP page. This is what this community is for. There are many experienced hypnotherapists here who have done my system again and again, have got their own systems, and there's lots of advice. It's far better if you have a specific question about my system to put it on this page, because you won't get conflicting information. If you put it on the bigger page, you'll get all sorts of different types of answers. They may not be wrong, they just may confuse you. So depending on what you want as an answer, whether you want lots of different varied type of opinions or whether you just want an answer to a specific question. And Rhonda's question is, what do you go through for weight loss? So Rhonda, you need to come to my immersion. That takes me a whole day to answer that question. So that's what immersion is. So you've got to make sure that you come to your October retreat at the Gold Coast. You can repeat the therapist system for free and then do immersion. So I can't possibly tell you right here, right now, what I do for weight loss. It took a whole day to go through that at immersion. But good try. Okay. All right. So if you have a specific weight loss question, I'm happy to answer it, but not what do you do, because that is like a huge question. Rhonda's saying she'll be there. Yay! Awesome! Okay, all right. So sending you all lots of love, and I just want to finish up by saying, believe in yourself. You are awesome. Believe in yourself, okay? There is nobody who's better or worse than you, okay? We are all unique individuals. We all have a unique offering, and we can all help our clients. Oh, just before I go, Charles caught me just in time. He's got a question. You're most welcome, Faye. Let's see. Could you please clarify a little something for me? When you're taking a client up into their timeline, yes. And you are taking them further back, yes. Yes. I'm waiting. What's the question? Maybe I should bring him on to so we can talk about it. Are you taking them further back in time? Yes. So further back in time, up above your timeline, before the event, Above the event, before the event, looking towards now is where all the personal learnings and the positive learnings are found. Above the event, before the event, looking towards now. So Charles saying go further back in space. Yeah, but I wouldn't say space. That might be confusing to clients. You know, what I would suggest that you do, Charles, is on my Hypnosis Business Success YouTube channel, I have got a lot of demonstrations there, a lot of demonstrations. One that has particularly good audio, some have better audios than others, is one that I did for Kalantha Chan, and then actually you can actually see that demonstration as part of the Expert Therapist system. I've got the link there, so have a look at it. But yes, so you got it. Excellent. Okay, so it's above the event, before the event, looking towards now, back on the timeline. So I hope that's been helpful to everybody, and